We are Polar Hockey, a brand committed to elevating girls and women's ice hockey by providing female players with proper fitting equipment. My name is Lila Cryer. I've been playing hockey since I was 4 years old, and I love the sport. But when I hit high school, I started to struggle to find equipment that fit me properly. I decided to found Polar to change that.
My name's Molly Smith. My father has owned a hockey equipment store for my entire life. I've also been playing for my entire life. When Lila approached me about this brand idea, I knew it was the perfect thing to get involved in.
Hi, my name's Sarah Burr. I've been playing since I was 10 years old, and I've always had a number of passions, including art, science, and of course hockey, but Polar has allowed me to combine all of these and create a product that I would have loved to have when I was younger.
Hi, my name is Justin Shaffritz. As you can see, I'm neither a female nor a hockey player. But when Lila told me about this idea about a year and a half ago, I knew I had to get involved and bring my knowledge of finance to the team.
As we know, female and males have significantly different anatomy. For example, women have narrower rib cages, wider hips, but also breasts. Despite this, women have been forced into male-fitting equipment forever. We spoke to Rory Gilday, one of the team captains at the Cornell women's hockey team, to which she said, "The biggest problem is that protective equipment has never been made considering the difference in anatomy," which is crazy considering there's a pretty big difference. We surveyed players at the high school, collegiate, and also professional levels, to which 97% said to them it was somewhat or very important that they had equipment specifically designed for their bodies. Also noted was shoulder pads had the biggest issues. Here are some of the pain points around the shoulder pads. All of these comments highlight the lack of anatomical consideration that brands like Bauer, CCM, and Stark are lacking.
Our solution is Polar Impact, a line of hockey equipment anatomically designed for female athletes. Prioritizing comfort, safety, as well as performance, this gear will allow players to reach their potential on the ice. The first two pieces that we would like to release are the neck laceration guard and the shoulder pads. Our three main competitors as of now are Bauer, CCM, and Stark, who've all very recently released their own pieces of women's equipment. However, they're all significantly lacking in both size as well as customization. So for this reason, we have designed our two-piece shoulder pad that ensures that all women and girls have equipment that fit them no matter their body size. So this two-piece includes a shoulder pad, which is based off of your shoulder width, as well as the chest plate, which is based off of your bust size. They are both, you can intertwine sizes, and they attach here at the shoulder and can be switched out for any other size. Polar is the first hockey equipment brand by female hockey players for female hockey players. We're able to better understand the issues that females face in the sport because we ourselves have gone through them. We want to empower the current players as well as foster the next generation by not only providing proper fitting gear, but also by reminding them that they're at the heart of every decision we make and that they deserve to be supported, celebrated, and seen.
We spoke to Ashley Messier, another captain on Cornell women's hockey, about the concept for Polar Hockey, to which she said that the game was rapidly changing and accommodating for women, and it would make sense that equipment would too. She said that if we don't do it, someone else will. And she's absolutely right. Women's hockey is having its moment with the launch of the Professional Women's Hockey League in 2023. There are currently 6 teams, and they are experiencing record-breaking fan attendance numbers similar to what we're seeing at NHL games. And women's hockey is growing. Over the past 12 years, we've seen an over 30% increase in female registrants in North America. Looking at our market opportunity, the global ice hockey equipment market is currently valued at about $2.2 billion, which is huge. We are looking at the female ice hockey player market, specifically in North America for Polar. Looking into how we are going to create our brand awareness, we have 3 key strategies. Starting with our social media marketing, we will be utilizing Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook to connect with our target customers. Additionally, we will be partnering with some of the top female hockey players to help promote our equipment. And finally, we will be doing community events. There are 2 community events in particular. We will have pop-ups at some of the major girls and women's hockey tournaments where these players can meet the founders behind the brand and test the equipment right there. And then we also want to have youth clinics. We know that girls drop out of sports at twice the rate that boys do before the age of 14. And so these youth clinics, what we'll do is we'll bring in local collegiate female players to help coach some of these younger girls, really helping to encourage them to stay in the sport, but also allowing them to have an early meeting of the brand.
Now, as far as our sales channels go, we look to maintain both a direct-to-consumer approach as well as a business-to-business approach. Now, the reason for this is that direct-to-consumer gives us a little bit of a fatter margin as we don't have to pay a middleman. However, a lot of hockey players still like to actually go and try on equipment in-store before they buy. This isn't as much of an issue for us as we have access to over 130 stores across the US and Canada through the Sports Inc. buying group. Now, for our rollout strategy, starting first with fundraising, we recently secured $5,000 from the Kenneth Fryrick competition at Skidmore College, and additionally, we secured about $1,000 from the New York Business Plan competition regional round. On top of that, we're getting ready to go through a round of seed funding worth about $350,000 for friends, family, and angel investors. Additionally, we are currently working on the R&D for our neck guard, looking to launch that in 2026. And also, we are in the early stages of our shoulder pad research and development, launching that in 2027. Additionally, in 2027, we are going to take on some debt through loans from banks to help cover our R&D costs as well as our act as a tax shield. Now, for our financial projections, as you can see this year, a lot of that cash is coming from outside sources. This is because we're not planning to sell anything this year as we're still developing our product. However, you can see that our sales numbers grow exponentially from 26 through 29. Additionally, you can see the little bit of debt that we have to take on in 2027. Now, as far as our net income goes, we're not afraid to show that we're not going to make a profit in the first couple of years. It's expected that a brand with high R&D costs like ourselves will not make a profit in the first couple of years. However, by 2029, we're looking at about a 35% profit margin. Additionally, for our net cash, you can see it gets a little bit low in 2026 and 7, hence the reason for the needing to take on some debt.
We've surveyed many female hockey players and spoken to many key industry professionals, including Susan Coig of the NHL, who loved our idea and stressed the importance of removing barriers to allow women's hockey to continue to grow. This is just a sample of the individuals that we have spoken to, and we've incorporated all of their ideas into our company's development plan. Additionally, like Justin said, we just competed in the Fryrick Entrepreneurship competition, as well as the New York Business Plan competition regional round, which were huge votes of confidence for us. So at Polar, we're not just making equipment, we're building a future where girls and women see a safe place for themselves in hockey. Will you join the team?
So if anybody has questions, we have a microphone that we'll pass around. I'll start with one. So you said that you have competitors, some of your competition is some of the really big companies that are already in this space. So when you develop this technology, what is stopping them, if you are able to have successful commercialization of this, what's stopping them from looking at your design ideas and making their own version and pushing you guys out?
So that's a great question. So actually yesterday we had our very first meetings with IP attorneys to talk about, what is actually required to actually get our idea to be into a patent. So by using IP, we can create protection such that they can't copy our specific, unique two-piece design.
Do you plan to only sell in the United States? And to also on Eric's question, right, as far as how does your competitiveness how do you protect your competitiveness in the United States?
Yeah, so actually part of my dad's buying group, there's 80 stores in Canada and 50 in the United States, so we would have both Canada and the United States.
In all reality, as with any business trying to enter the market, we have the same barriers as with big companies. However, we're really trying to push the point that no other big company has female owners that really know what it's like for female athletes. I mean, female hockey is also starting to grow at a tremendous rate, but when we started, it was a really small market. Like, I know a lot of professional players now just because they have played with them when they were younger, and so we have a lot of depth and reach in terms of like the women that we know in the sport already who would be willing to, partner with us and at least try our equipment.
Have you had a chance to talk to other smart people about possibly using it as a platform to try out new technologies, new materials for this platform?
Yeah, so I'm not a hockey player, but I'm an alpine ski racer. And in skiing, there's been a lot of controversy around lacerations. And so there's a mandate now that we have to wear cut-proof equipment. And so we believe that the technology surrounding that would be applicable to neck guards. So we're actually working on partnering with the premier cut-proof protection company in alpine skiing.
Hi, I was just wondering what your plan or vision was for testing the durability and the safety of the equipment.
So when it comes to the shoulder pads, there are actually no certifications that you need. You do need a certification for the neck guards and for helmets, but all the other equipment, there is no certification. Our competitors, Bauer and CCM, they pretty much set the standard for safety, and so we will definitely be, that is one of our pillars, is our safety, and so we will be thoroughly testing and making sure that it is fully safe. But yeah, there are no certifications for that.